Recently, the new Infernoble Knights support came out and I made a video about it, but today I decided to showcase 3 different combos plus 2 different deck lists and teach you everything I know about this deck. Guys, welcome to the combos. Now, the first combo is gonna be by using only new Space Connector. It is a 1-card combo, but you need to play the Bamboo Sword card, so keep that in mind. Now, we're gonna start off by normal summoning it and activating the effect to space summon from our deck a copy of Dolphin. Then we are gonna link off both of these into Izodi, and Izodi is just a really good card for this deck. We are always going into it first. We're gonna activate the effect and search out something that we're not gonna be using. In that case, we're gonna go for Riddler because we don't need it necessarily. And then we're gonna be activating the effect of the Izodi and send 4 very specific equip spells to the graveyard. So we're gonna be sending Cursed Bamboo Sword, Durendao, Joyous, and also the Angelica's Ring, which will allow us to special summon Ogier from our deck. And then we can activate the effect of the Ogier and send to the graveyard an extender. Also use the effect of the Cursed Bamboo Sword and search out a copy of the Broken Bamboo Sword, which is necessary in order to continue from here. So we're gonna send to the graveyard now the Turpin, which has a very cool ability to space summon itself. Then we're gonna be equipping the Broken Bamboo Sword, which allows us to activate the effect of Turpin, space summon it back to the field. And now we have 2 level 4 monsters to go for an XC summon into the Artorigas, which is gonna allow us to continue from here. By activating the effect, we can equip 2 cards to it, these 2 specifically that we sent to the graveyard. And now we're going to be activating the effect of the Durendao, allowing us to search out a copy of this little dude here that I cannot pronounce the name of. And then we are going to be using 2 of our monsters to straight up go for Promethean Princess in order to activate the secondary effect of Joyous. And Joyous has a really cool ability that simply allows us to special summon a monster on the field. And we're going to go for the guy that we just added. Also, we're going to be able to bring back any of those 2, and that gives us a level 5 synchro summon into the Angelica, which on the other hand searches out a copy of Museum, and that is gonna continue our plays from here. So now activate the effect, Museum, add from deck to hand. Now we're gonna be using Museum, and we're gonna be activating the first effect, allowing us to search out a copy of the Owl Mace, which we kept in the deck for a reason. Then we're gonna be activating the effect first of all of one of these 2 guys. We're gonna go for Turpin's effect, equip it to the Angelica, chain Angelica, which allows us to do 2 very cool things that you're gonna see right now. Now the first one is gonna be, you're gonna want to send to the graveyard Gearfried, because we're gonna be space summoning it a little bit later. Second one allows us to just synchro summon into the Captain Rowan, actually special summon, not synchro summon technically. And from here we're gonna be activating the effect of Promethean Princess, bring back a level 4 monster. We're gonna go for this one, and we are gonna be using 2 of them to summon the Charos to our field, which is just gonna allow us to continue from here. And now we are gonna be equipping the Charos with our O Mace, which allows us to activate the effect of our Charos and pop the Promethean Princess, which is what we wanna do in order to enable her ability to, use the effect during the following turn. Then we're gonna go into the Emperor Charos the Great, which also allows us to activate the effect of the Owl Mace. Chaining 1, we're gonna go Emperor Charos the Great, equipping the other Charos. Then we're gonna go chaining 2, activate Owl Mace's effect and target the Gearfried to bring it back to our hand, which will allow us to then space summon it to the field a little bit later, of course. And now, of course, it resolves, bring it back, and the Charos gets equipped to it. Now we're gonna be activating the effect of the Museum, which allows us to special summon Charos to our field again, which allows us to go for the second Charos the Great. Now we're going to be activating the effect of the Captain Rowan, equipping it to the Charos, which lets us go for the second Emperor Charos the Great, which is already really good, just a really strong board already. And we are going to be going and activating the effect again to equip the Charos a second time, of course. And now we're gonna be special summoning the Gearfried to the field by banishing something from our graveyard. Let's just go for the Broken Bamboo Sword, doesn't really matter. Summon it, and now that is basically all. We're gonna be activating effect of the Ogier just to equip it to the Charos, make it a little harder to deal with. And now in the end phase, we're gonna be returning the Angelica as well, and also activate the effect of the Emperor Charos, equipping from our graveyard a copy of the Angelica's Ring, which was sent earlier, and also from our deck a copy of Magius, which makes it indestructible by battle. Also, this makes it indestructible by card effects. And here what we have is basically 2 spells and trap cards negation, 1 negation off of Angelica's Ring on top of it, 1 negation off of Gearfried, cards to deal with Beatstick, and also in the graveyard Promethean Princess popping effect and the Captain Rowan's popping effect by equipping it to the Charos. Pretty good for a 1-card combo, I would say. Now let's move on to the 2-card combo. Now for the second combo, I wanna showcase you what Ogier plus any extender can do. So we're gonna start off by special summoning the Riddler, of course, to the field. Then we are gonna normal summon the Ogier, activate the effect, and in that case we're gonna send to the graveyard our copy of Turpin because we're gonna need a little bit more extending, and we're gonna link off both of them for Izodi. Izodi works for every single line of play. Now we're gonna be activating the first effect of Izodi and search out something that we're not gonna be using. For example, Fireflame Lady is a good target. Then we are going to activate the secondary effect and send 4 cards to the graveyard. Again, we're gonna go for the Cursed Bamboo Sword, Durandal, also Joyous, and also the Angelica's Ring, which allows us to space summon to the field a monster. Now in that case, we are gonna space summon the Magias, and that is for a small but meaningful reason. Now we're gonna activate the effect of the Cursed Bamboo Sword and add the Broken Bamboo Sword. From here, you already know we're gonna equip the Broken Bamboo Sword to the Magias, activate the effect of the Turpin, space summon it as a level 4 body, which lets us go again into the Artorigas. And Artorigas is only primarily used when you have the Bamboo Sword cards, so keep that in mind. Now we're gonna be activating the effect of the Artorigas, and we're gonna be equipping both the Joyous and the Durandal. And from here it becomes the same combo, just like the 1-card combo, but without the connector. Now let's move on to the next combo. Alright, so that combo will be on how to play around Nibiru. For that, you're gonna wanna have connector plus Renout, or a way to search it out. Of course, we are now gonna be searching it out with the effect of the Heritage, and now we have the 2 cards that we need. So we're gonna start off by normal summoning connector, activate the effect, which allows us to space summon Dolphin from our deck. Then we're gonna go ahead and summon the Izodi again, which will allow us to then use both of its effects, of course. And now we're gonna play a little bit differently, and here you don't actually need the Bamboo Sword card, so keep that in mind. So we're gonna search out a copy of the Red Layer. Also, we're gonna go ahead, activate Izodi, and we are gonna send to the graveyard 4 cards. So the 4 cards we're gonna go for are gonna be these 4, except for the Owl Mace. Owl Mace is gonna be kept in the deck. And as you can see, of course, we do not play the Bamboo Sword. Now we're gonna space summon the Ogier, and we're gonna activate the effect, allowing us to send to the graveyard a copy of the Turpin. From here, we are gonna go ahead and space summon the Renout to the field, activate the effect, and instead of bringing back Living Fossil, which you would typically do, you would bring back Durandal because we're gonna need it. So now this is the moment where your opponent has the chance to actually respond with Nibiru if they want to. So if they respond with the Nibiru, you just continue the same way with your combos. If they don't, you summon the Appaloosa and you're all good. So we're now gonna summon the Appaloosa, pretend like they didn't Nibiru you, and now you're protected. From here, we're gonna go activate Durandal, equip it to the Appaloosa, which lets us activate the effect of the Turpin, and space summon it to the field from our graveyard. From here, we're gonna be activating the effect of the Durandal and search out a copy of the Oliver. And remember that Red Layer, well, we are gonna have to discard it now off of the effect of Oliver in order to continue our play. So we're gonna do exactly that. Then we have a level 5 synchro play into the Angelica, which allows us to just bring to our hand a copy of the Museum. And yeah, Angelica is just really good in this deck. What can I say? Adding the Museum. Now we're gonna be using the effect of the Museum, and we are gonna be searching out a copy of Owl Mace, which is the only one that we didn't actually send to the graveyard, of course. And from here, we're gonna be going and equipping the Angelica specifically with Oliver, change the effect of Angelica, and go into Captain Rowan, which will let us just continue from here with our plays. And this is really good because it sends Gearfree to the graveyard, but also because it summons Captain Rowan and enables us to have one more interruption. And now we are gonna be going ahead and activating the effect of the Ogier, equipping it to the Rowan here, which will then allow us to use the effect of the Museum. And yes, we are giving up on our ability for a second Charles, but that's okay, because we're now gonna go and synchro summon into the first one, and we can just set up different things instead. So we're gonna summon it, then we're gonna be equipping it with the Owl Mace, which we added earlier, and then we are gonna be not activating the effect, of course. We're gonna be linking it off for a copy of the Emperor Charles the Great, and that will give us the ability to activate the effect of Emperor Charles the Great, Chainlink 1, and also Chainlink 2, use the effect of the Owl Mace, and return the Gearfree to our hand, which we're gonna be special summoning later. So now Gearfree gets back to our hand, and Charles gets equipped, beautiful. And from here, we're not still gonna use the effect of it, of course. We're gonna activate the effect of the Gearfree, banish something, just go get rid of whatever you want, and we're gonna be special summoning the Gearfree to our field. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, how you play around Nibiru. This is your board. Now in the end phase, we're gonna be returning the Angelica. Also, we are gonna be activating the effect of the Charles, and we're gonna be equipping to it a copy of the Angelica's Ring from the graveyard. Also equipping from the deck a copy of the Magias. And one thing I forgot to actually do is also equip the Ogier, which we had the ability to. So you need to equip the Ogier before the end phase just to have a little bit more protection. But pretty much what we have is 3 negates off of Appaloosa, 4 negates off of the Emperor Charles, 5 negates off of the Angelica's Ring, 6 negates off of Gearfree, and a 7 effect, which is gonna be a popping effect off of the Captain Rowan. And this is only by using New Space Connector and Renout. If you have more extenders, you are gonna be able to also go into the Emperor Charles. So this combo is really great. Now let's move on to the deck profile. Alright guys, so this is the Bamboo Sword version. We're playing 1 copy of Broken Bamboo Sword, 1 copy of Cursed Bamboo Sword, 1 copy of Joyous, and 1 copy of Artorigas to make it work. As of everything else, it is pretty much the same. Obviously, you can play whatever hand traps you want. Also, you can buff up the copies of Ogier or Renout if you want to. You can go and add 1 more copy of Ogier, for example, if you want to have more consistency with the normal summons, because sometimes you're not gonna get the connector, but I don't think you really need to do that since we have basically 4 ways to search out something. Also, you can buff up the copies of Renault and go up to 3 copies if you want to, or 2 copies, because this card allows you to, as you can see, play around Nibiru, and it's really good extender as well. As of the rest of the cards, I really don't think you need to get rid of anything. The ability star is one thing you could get rid of if you want to, but in my opinion that would be a mistake, because you have access to the original Sinful Spoils, which special summons a level 1 fire monster from the deck, aka Renault or 580 or this guy. But enough of the Bamboo Sword version, now let's move on to the other one. Alright, so this is the second version of the deck, and that is the one that I prefer to play more. You do not play Bamboo Sword, you still play the Artorigas, but just as a cool removal or something that you can go into very rarely. You're barely gonna use it, so you don't even need to play it if you don't want to. Now, not playing Bamboo Sword means that your new Space Connector is no longer gonna be a 1-card combo, but it's easily negatable. Even if it's a 1-card combo, you can just literally go Imperm, Ash Blossom, Effect Viewer, Gamma, and just stop it, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Also, here we have the ability to play more hand traps, which is really good in my opinion, and that means we're gonna be going for Magias a little more often, because Magias allows us to shuffle back a couple of cards, draw 1 extra card, which could just as well be a hand trap. Also, Magias is really good in that deck because we play actually only 6 equip spells, as you can see, and if you hard draw any of them, it might mess up your combos a little bit, so it will be a good idea to just shuffle back a couple of them with the Magias and enable your Museum, which could be negated if you don't have enough equip spells in your deck. Other than that, the two decks are pretty much just the same. Now, I want to point out that this version is a little harder to play because you have to rely on your extenders and you need to know what to do with them, which means you're gonna need to have a better understanding of what every single card does in the deck. So I would suggest you to try out first of all the Bamboo Sword version, then when you learn the deck you can move on to this one if you want to. But that was it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, I would love to answer them. Also, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, of course, and check out any other guides. I have other guides in the channel as well, just like this one. But for now, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.